Hi, and welcome back to the Road to React add-on series. Today we're going to talk about React component definition, which Robin considers a more advanced topic. And what he's really trying to convey in a nutshell is that these functions that you see here, which are also components, can actually be rewritten and made simpler. They can be rewritten in a different way. That's all he's trying to say. So this whole section, don't let it confuse you. It's just all about that. So he's trying to say that you can create. So you have a function right. We have a function right here called app. So let's rewrite that into an arrow notation. So a different way of writing this function. So use the keyword const. You don't use the keyword function. So you're basically creating constant, and then you just use the parentheses for the arguments, the arrow notation, and the curly braces, and that's it. So obviously we're missing this return statement in this version right here. So we could just put it in there, if just put it right there. So yeah, there we go. So we just rewrote. So let me just, there you go. So I just rewrote this old way, which I consider an old way of doing things, to this new modern way. And you're going to see this a lot more in modern applications than this version. Okay, cool. What else? If you have two arguments, well, first of all, this function doesn't take in an argument, but let's say it did. Let's say it took in, I don't know, something called props. So, okay. So you could get away with just no parentheses like this. Although my package that I've installed, my Addon package, I have a package installed that will automatically add those. But I don't think you need those parentheses. But if you have two arguments, you definitely need them. So let's say you have two arguments, you definitely need these parentheses to and this, by the way, would be the equivalent of this, right? All right. Let me go back to no arguments, no parameters. Okay, what else does he talk about? He's saying defining React function components with arrow function makes them more concise. Looks more concise. What else? And he's also saying that you can use the arrow notation on the on the map function, on the array map function, where you see it takes in an argument which is of type function, and we can actually rewrite that so it's an arrow notation format and not in the old function notation format. So for that, we would just do so we know it takes in one argument called item, arrow notation, and curly brace. That's it. Okay, let's rewrite this list component to our new way. So I don't confuse you guys, let me get rid of this app component or function because we rewrote it into this arrow notation, and we're going to rewrite this one now to arrow notation. Okay, so again, we're going to use the keyword constant, the name of the function, equal sign, parentheses, and arrow notation, and then curly braces. Okay. All right, cool. So we wrote both of these components to arrow notation, and he's also the last thing he mentions is that we can make this even simpler. If your function is only returning something, you can actually get rid of the return statement. Not only can you get rid of the return statement, you could also get rid of the curly braces. So you can have something like, let me make sure, something like this. The only thing missing here is the parentheses. I know it's a little bit confusing. So again, let me just go over it real quick. So instead of curly braces and a return statement, right? Instead of this, we're going to get rid of the curly braces, get rid of the return statement, And instead, what we're going to do is add parentheses, open parentheses, and close parentheses. So this is saying return this without using the keyword return. Simple, right? And then we can do the same thing for the one below. Can you already guess? So before I do it, it might be a good idea for you to just think about it for a second and see what exactly you would change to make this more concise. Well, if you said, or you thought, we would need to get rid of the return statement, you're correct. So we'll get rid of that. What else? The curly brace, right? So right here, and I believe this one right here. Okay, so we got rid of that. What else? Well, we can, so we just did it to the outer function, to this list component and / function. But what about this inner part? Because that's still using a function too right here, right? So let's do the same thing. I'm going to get rid of the return statement, get rid of the curly brace, and it already has the parentheses, so I don't have to do anything there. But there's one more thing that you got to pay attention to that could throw you off. Like, so if you did this in your code and it does something is not functioning right, it could be because we have the semicolon right here. This whole thing becomes one statement. So you can't break it up into two parts. That's the mistake I did right before I recorded this session. Okay, so this looks good to me. Maybe you see something that's still wrong. It looks good to me as far as I can tell. This looks valid. All right, guys, this is it for today. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, till next time, take care.